loves you like the way I do.
I'm Jack Dude from legendary local band Three Bad Dudes, and I've been up and down these roads more times than you've brushed your teeth, fella. And I've got more stories than the Old Testament. But this time, it ain't about me. This is my new podcast, Bad Gigs, and we're going to feature local artists telling stories about their past and fun times that they've had. Episode 1 is going to feature Mike LaPointe, a hell of a guitar player and musician from Brantford, Ontario. Lots of experience. He toured up and down these roads in the 70s and 80s and 90s when it took more than just a mic stand and an iPad to get a gig, if you know what I'm saying. There's about 9,000 pounds of gear in this man's basement and probably just as many stories, so let's hear from him.
It wasn't so much a bad gig as it was a vile and disgusting venue. The place I'm talking about, well, first of all, a little background here. During the 80s, there was actually a club circuit where you could play 6 or even 7 nights a week as a club band, trying to, pay your dues, basically. You could either play originals or, well, mostly covers and maybe salt in some of your originals. That was kind of our approach. But you would be able to play split weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in one bar, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes even Sunday in another place. So you'd basically go from room to room, from club to club, city to city, and you could play 50 weeks a year if you really wanted to. Well, this was a bar in Barrie. It was called the Wellington Hotel, and also became lovingly known as the Smelly Welly to most players who played there. And the issue was not so much that it was a bad gig, because it was a great gig. People came, there was, good crowds, you would have, enthusiastic audience pretty much, any night of the week. And it was a nice stop, 2 hours, north of the gasworks, or an hour and a half north of the gasworks, and a nice convenient stop without having to drive all the way to Sudbury, North Bay, Timmins, one of those northern communities. And it was a great place to play. But the most serious and vile and disgusting infestation of cockroaches I have ever seen anywhere. You really were taking your personal hygiene into your hands by walking into the place. We had to hang our suitcases or whatever you were daring enough to bring into the place. We had to hang them from the ceiling from light fixtures, and even that wasn't protection. It was better than nothing. Many bands, many musicians I knew would actually sleep in the equipment truck or bathe in the bay at the beach, just go for a swim instead of taking a shower, because it was not a place you wanted to get naked in, put it that way. So, and it was commonplace, when that was the rooms upstairs. I mean, it was just horrendously infested. But then you'd go down to the bar, and it was much better in the bar, because you'd see waitresses with trays full of drinks quickly put down a glass of beer and give it a little twist, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what she was doing. And even your sound man would be brushing roaches off the mixer and things like that. But as I said, it wasn't such a bad place to play. We had great crowds, and we had often, you would have some local, regional Rockstar sort of guy walk in, and I saw Kim Mitchell there one time, in the audience. So it was an interesting and a fun place to play, but yeah, you just, it made your skin crawl just walking in the building. So that was my one and only place. I mean, there were probably gigs. I tend to have rose-colored glasses with my ears on the road. I loved being out there. No regrets having done it. But that was probably the most disgusting place I've ever played. I hear it's a bank now, so if you do any banking in Barrie, just check your bills carefully.